Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for the highly anticipated RLIS draft. Everyone has been spamming me all day wondering what time it is. I'm not going to name names, but the draft is only completed this morning due to certain managers in this call. But either way, we'll get underway shortly with the lovely draft now. My name is Dealage. I am joined by a lovely little co-caster for today to bounce some ideas off and hopefully give a few opinions. Nova, do you wanna go ahead? Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I've seen some terrible, terrible teams, specifically from one manager. But you know what? You have to have the bad. You have to have the good. I couldn't do it myself. That's why I said no to you. So yeah, we might as well. I don't want to keep anyone waiting. I know they're all excited, so let's just get right into it.
Let's indeed. So, we are going to start off, as we always do, with Rising Star. A quick little recap there of all the managers, if anyone wasn't aware. We're going to go about one round at a time. We'll do the first round, second round, third round. Maybe ask a quick question between each rounds, but we're not going to hold up everyone too much. And Mr. Ryan Peoples here, with the first overall pick of the Rising Star draft, did end up selecting Mr. Taste Rainbows. And we're going to go quickly on from the left to the right here. We'll just go quickly, spam across. Bev, selected with the Celtic Tigers. Rad, selected by myself. Jarf for the Giants. Ferg with the Irish Wolfhounds by Rory. And Quark by Cans and the Banshees. Always reunited. Quark and the Banshees. It's a match made in heaven. Nova, for the first round of Rising Star, it's a pretty strong first round.
Yeah, I don't know. All players feel like they sort of fit here. In the bottom tier. But easily strong picks. Players I'd be looking to carry their team. Obviously, Bev, a bit of a wild card. Sometimes he plays very good, sometimes he plays horrendous. From what I've seen of him. But I am hoping to see the better side of Bev. Taste Rainbow's also a very good pick from Ryan when he plays well. He's just very solid. But all comes down to who's with them because it's more than just a one-man game. You need every single player pushing for you here. So we might as well just get onto the second round right away, Dave, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we'll ask one quick question to a manager per round. Just not in too quick, just a quick worder. Ryan, you are in the call with us today. Taste, picking the first overall here. Any particular reason behind that, or do you think Taste, as usual, could end up just farming?
I think Taste is probably too good for Rising Star, to be honest. It's kind of a question of how bad will his schedule be, and if it's good enough that he can play every week, I think he should be the best player in the tier.
Very strong words indeed, Ryan. As I said, we'll go quickly on. Quark and the Banshees get doubled up with Kevster. Nice little double pick there for Cans. And we're going to quickly on just revealing this second round. Kenny Casual, drafted by the Wolfhounds, eat into the Giants. Big Hugh Jamie by myself in the High Kings. Hinini, drafted by Tomster, and Ryan with the last pick picking Hero. Again, another strong second round, but a few interesting picks in that order, Nova.
Yeah, not all of them would be how I'd go for it. I'm gonna be honest. The one I'm looking at, I think everyone is looking at, Ethan, not being last pick. I do think question marks do have to be raised over the Irish Giants manager Krolick because I'm not sure how he snuck his way into that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see how that goes.
What, me?
Kralik is here,
Yes, you Krolick.
and I've started sharing
Yeah,
a little screen share for the managers now, so they can see it as well.
Yeah, look. Listen, right. Ethan's funny. He can be a bit no brain at times, but he's funny. He'll carry that team in terms of vibes. So that's all I need.
Congratulations. You're second pick because you're funny. Good fella.
That is what you love to hear. I suppose that's all you care about. We'll get quickly on here to the third round. He's gonna make that pick already. Tom already looking for a trade for the second round. I don't know why my desktop showed there, but either way. In third round, Ryan has selected Rubber Ducky. Topster. Picking Med, Duffy, whichever one of his 50 million aliases you want to pick. Large Ryan, selected by myself. J Fang, selected by Krolic. Rory with Tezik, most recently the SSD, having a good run. And Cans, picking up dinner in the third round. We have some very interesting teams overall, Nova.
Yeah, I'm surprised Krolic didn't pick up dinner. But if I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking at that Celtic Tigers team, and I think that team is one that everyone should be keeping eyes on. Bev, Hanini, Duffy, three consistent players, three players who are very strong going forward, and I do think Hanini is also very solid with the rotations, possibly the best in the tier when it comes to it. When I'm looking at all of these names, so yeah, they'd be my go-to, but some other strong teams. Ryan's team is strong with the Saints. Your team, yourself, Dave, going to be a competitive season for Rising Star, to say the least.
It will be very competitive, and I'm going to skip Mr. Tomster here for this round because while we all know he has a very good team, I have a more important question for him as we get underway for Shooting Star, which there'll be more interesting questions for him, Nova. And with the first overall pick, Shooting Star, I don't know if anyone's going to predict this, maybe not, but Tomster has selected Large Grady. Maybe a bit interesting, who knows, but either way, we all gonna love him in the end. Pudding sharing on Grady in the chat. Speaking of Captain Pudding, selected by myself. Krolic then picking up Zexel, followed by three more very strong first rounders here in Shooting Star of Sark, Jezical, and Kismet. Alpha OG, GM McLean, whatever you want to call him. We're having a very strong round there, Nova.
Yeah, all six players there. Again, it's sort of like the first round of Rising Star. All of them very much capable of carrying their teams. Definitely looking at Pudding and Kismet, obviously two players formerly played together very often, now yet again against each other. Going to be two players that are quite consistent anyway, so it's going to be interesting. See what their teammates are like. Neither of them capable of carrying by themselves, but they do add a strong base, I suppose is the best way to put it.
That's true. And Tom, you're at the first overall pick in this tier. Any reasoning behind Large Grady in particular over maybe some of the other players available in this tier?
I'll be brutally honest, I kind of didn't really like anyone else to pick in the first round. I know, to be fair, there was a month there, I'd say almost half a year ago now, where Large Grady found himself in Elite Queue. And I was impressed with him anyway that month. And you see his clips on Showboat and stuff. So, I'd say he was the ideal first pick for me, to be honest. Yeah, no one else really stood out for me.
That's fair enough, Tom. I will say Large Grady was farming 1802s last night with a friend, but he has been getting very mechy lately. We're going to go straight on here, Ryan, with that double pick at the end of this first round. Selected Pavilion, forming a very, very strong duo. And Cans, reviving an old RSE team of Jezical and Redport. Rory picking up starts then in the second round. Krolic picking up a very impressive player in the All-Ireland ones recently in Mali. Myself picking up Souls. And Tom, at the end of that second round, picking up Mr. Butt Snorkler, who I think could be a bit underrated in the Shooting Star Draft, Nova.
Absolutely, Butt Snorkler, he does very well in six-mans when he does play. And when you do watch him as well in RSC, he is also very consistent, often subbing in for teams. Did it a lot last season for sure, so could be the dark horses of the tier for Tom. Otherwise, there's some strong names there. Kismet and Pavilion together That's a team that could absolutely farm this tier. Meanwhile, Jessica and Redport yet again together. A controversial one based on how they performed last year in RLI for or in RC for RLI. But absolutely could also do well due to their chemistry.
Definitely, definitely. And we'll just go quickly on to the third round. We don't want to keep people waiting too much. Rene, Wild Rene, most recently appearing at the NEC LAN with Mayday, doing a very impressive top 8 run. Little Dutch boy being selected by myself to play with Pudding and Souls. Johnzer being picked up by Kralik. Rory picking up Saturday. Bit of maybe a sleeper pick going to the slate in the draft. Bread being picked up by Lovely Candace. And finally, Ryan to top it all off in Shooting Star with Kismet Pavilion. Phil, aka the Dangerous Gamer. There is a bit of discrepancy between the top and the bottom of this tier, but nonetheless, it's still a quite overall very strong Shooting Star draft, Nova.
Yeah, some very strong teams overall. I do think, unlike Rising Star, which I'm quite confident in predicting that Celtic Tigers will win, Shooting Star, it's a lot tougher. There's some very, very strong rosters here. A lot of teams that are much more consistent throughout. I'm looking at Rory's, for example. I think that's 3 very consistent players. Meanwhile, some that are more a bit top heavy, such as the Saints roster. But overall, should hopefully be a very competitive season coming up.
I would agree, but as my thing's already approached, I don't know why that keeps happening, but either way, we'll just get on to the All-Star draft pretty quickly. Yes, Tom, I don't know why the desktop keeps appearing. It happens, but either way, with the first overall pick of All-Star, we have Epics selected by Rory. Very strong player there indeed. A bit maybe unfortunate to not make it into the Superstar this time around, but Lovely Cans then selecting Panda. Ryan picking up the ever faithful decomp in his All-Star shenanigans as always. Tom picking up Eddie. Myself picking up maybe a bit of a sleeper here. Maybe we'll hear himself gas himself up a bit. No one knows Nova. And Kralik being a bit of a player manager here. Maybe slightly too high in this first round, but I don't think it'll matter in the end, Nova. We have a very high quality All-Star draft here so far.
Yeah, I'm looking at Kralik here, and I don't think he really belongs along with the rest of the names here. Obviously 9th to 12th at the last LAN. Quite poor, really. But I guess if that's what's hidden boosting you gets you, then fair enough for Kralik.
Very true indeed. He didn't give out to me too much when I told him where he was in the draft. I didn't hear too much fight back, so I left it as is. A bit tough to place him because All-Star from top to bottom is such a competitive thing. I'm being complained that this next player was his first pick, but I did tell you we were in the first round, so that's on you, Kralik. But Kralik then, with his first actual pick of this tier, ends up selecting Johnny, which a big dynamic duo there, but even more of a dynamic duo selected by myself, Techie, Nova and Techie, the perpetual duo in every tournament, managed to team up for the High Kings. Tomster, strong first rounder in Eddie, ends up selecting Cookie. That will be a dangerous duo. The amount of troll potential is high, but they also have high farming potential. Ryan ends up getting Sosa. Bit interesting though that he might have gone this late in the draft. Cans obviously selecting himself and Rory to top it off the second round, picking Ryan 404.
Yeah, it's again a very strong round overall. The quality is still there, but I'm seeing a lot of people predicting right now. Decomp's confident in himself. Hanini thinks Tom's Tiger's gonna win. I'm obviously quite confident in myself. I've been playing with Techie for the whole year. But it does also come down to the last picks, and having seen the last picks for All Star, it only makes me a bit more confident. So you might as well take it away, Dave.
We'll just go quickly through this and then ask a few of the managers' questions, as we have three player managers in this tier. Can's unfortunately not being able to be with us this evening. He's too busy on the pitch and bot course. But Rory with that double pick there, picking up Estonian Shark. Cans then picking up Luca. Again, another player who questionably has fallen this far in the draft, but I suppose that's how it always works in RLIS. Players will go a bit lower than expected. Ryan, himself being playing this year, obviously, going to team up with Decomp and Sosa. Tom, picking up Danusher to play with Eddie and Cookie. Myself, going to pick up JTGM in that third round, and Krolick in that last pick of the All-Star, ends up picking Audrey. Again, from top to bottom here, Nova, All-Star is probably the most stacked tier in competitiveness and how close all the players are between each other.
Yeah, it's a very close tier. When you look at the players picked first round and then compared to the last round, obviously Luca especially. I do question Tom's last pick. I am going to be honest. Sorry, Dano, you are publicly being called out here. But the rest of those were like, even with that, Eddie and Cookie play very well together, and I guess they do have that chemistry with Dano. So again, another tier that's going to be very tough to predict. But I'm going to back myself in it regardless.
Obviously you would, Nova, which is why I was kind of ecstatic when I managed, after I got you, seeing that Krolick did pick up Johnny, so I could reunite you and Techie. Techie being last year's All-Star champion, maybe he'll do it again. But we're going to move on to Ryan first. Ryan, Decomp, Sosa and yourself, two players you've previously won with on different occasions. What do you take? How do you think you back yourself up in this such a strong lineup for All-Star this year?
Yeah, I mean, I know what they can both offer, and Sosa was, in my opinion, the best player in All-Star last season. I think he basically carried the finals by himself, where we famously lost 5 threes games in a row to said player. Decomp, obviously, probably the best All-Star player of all time, has somehow fallen to the third pick, so, had to get my hands on that. And I think the three of us together should be maybe the best team in All-Star, at least top 3.
We like the confidence, Ryan. We like the confidence. Krolick, we're going to have to move to you now. A bit of an interesting drafting choice. Maybe a small bit shafted by where you were, but I suppose if Kansas the second round, I suppose we'd have to put you there too. Just trying to create equal draftness across all 4 tiers on the averages. But
Yeah, I was
some
under
interesting
the
picks.
assumption I was second round, so because I was like, I want Johnny to be my first round pick.
You never said that,
Either way, I
so
still got
the graphic
Johnny.
is done.
Yeah, well, sure look.
Womp.
Sure look, yeah, we'll see what happens. Still got Johnny, so it's all good.
I think you're
And
finishing last.
I think Adri is very slept on. I think he does very well in Prem in 6 months, so be excited to see how this plays out.
Very exciting indeed. And I suppose, Tom, we'll move over to you for one last question. Obviously, a very strong dynamic duo in Eddie and Cookie. Maybe a small bit, might be a bit of an understatement, of troll potential from the duo, but Donusher in that third round, while he can certainly live up to the hype, maybe a bit of a questionable pick at this stage, Tom.
I don't think so, to be honest. I think he's gone under the radar for a lot of the managers there. I have heard, whilst he mightn't be the best at 3v3, I'm sure that's something that can't be, we'll say, fine-tuned as the season goes on, per se. But I think the team I've put together and the general consensus is they could well win, but they also could well finish last. But I'm excited to see them play, to be honest. I think all 3 of them will have a load of fun, so that kind of matters most to me anyway. So happy with my team.
I like that approach, Tom. I like that approach. They could, as long as they have fun, I suppose that's all that matters in the end. Just like you're saying, another team that could win, but also could end up doing interesting would be Ryan's team. But I suppose it really depends on how the 3 of them gel together. But I'm certain Ryan does have those capabilities. But I suppose, look, we're not going to make everyone wait too much longer. We're going to get on to the final tier, the superstar tier, the one everyone's been waiting for. And now, it would be... if I were to tell everyone I had the first overall pick, there would be absolutely a lot of angry people saying how rigged this is. But no, I couldn't give myself. I wasn't allowed. It was vetoed because of last year. So this manager needs a bit of help. Lovely cans. We hit the first overall pick in this tier. I think we all know who's coming. Mr. Shark. And we're going to go quickly through the first round because all the rest of these players are all phenomenal top tier players in RLI at the moment. Hidden being picked up in the second overall pick by Ryan for the Saints. Tomster, obviously as a manager, being picking up himself. Myself then picking up Yogzula for the High Kings. Krolek picking up Pukas for the Giants and leaving to the 6th pick again, just like last year, Lukapo being picked up by the Wolfhounds Nova.
Look, the one thing we have to ask ourselves is Shark at the level where it doesn't matter who else is on the other two teams? Has that team just won already? Because that's how it felt last year, I'll be honest, Dave. Obviously, you managing to cheat your way into him. But not this time round, you know. So, we'll have to see who his teammates are, but I do reckon Cans might have already guaranteed himself a trophy in the top div.
Yeah, it's a bit tough with Shark being a lot better than nearly everyone else. A lot of these players can take a good fight against Shark and on their day could beat him, but I suppose it all falls down to the day. Maybe last year I got a bit fortunate letting Quint fall all that way down the draft, but at the moment though, Rory for the second round has picked up Nuss. The dynamic duo returns from last year. I can't remember the top league player. They certainly did very, very well. Luke and Nuss. Krolek ended up picking Shadow, reuniting 2/3 of Rory's stinkers from Superstar last year. Myself might get a bit of hate for this, but an absolutely phenomenal player on his day. Mayday being picked up by myself. Llama being picked up by Tomster. Oh no, what? Of course. It happens every year. Tomster and Llama reunited. Waffle being picked up by Ryan. Won't be very happy that he wasn't third round Superstar. And Winter being picked up at the end of the second round by Lovely Cans. We have a very interesting second round here, Nova.
Yeah, I'm just reading chat right now, and everyone absolutely digging into Krolek, and rightfully so. That's a horrendous choice from him. But I guess it's just more of the same. Otherwise, some, reasonable picks. There's a couple of players maybe that you could argue could have gone above Winter when we see it around 3. But even then, it's with Shark. You want someone solid, someone that can rotate like himself. So really right now, it does sort of feel like the fight for second place. Krolek is not in it. But the rest of them have a chance.
Most certainly do. And I suppose we'll get off to the third round very quickly. Winter and Shark being joined up by Jaffa. We have a double pick there, so either could have been second or third round, whichever I felt like. Just the first name I was DM'd. Right, we have GSC _ Zach being picked up by Ryan. Bit of an unknown quantity, but potentially could provide that unknown hidden spark for Ryan Saints. Nathan in Superstar being picked up to play with Tomster and Llama. Go into how their general chat interactions. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes. We'll see their reactions. Already everyone laughing at the Nathan pick, as we see. But myself being managing here in the third round. Minty being picked up by Krolek to see can they do better than Rory's Superstar team last year. And the final pick of Superstar being picked up by Rory. SAM making his way just about into Superstar Nova.
Yeah, I'm just going to put real quickly. Krolek and Minty, they do have their differences. So to see this team, Puka, Shadow, and Minty, it's a generational roster. How much points do we think they get? Do we think they even have a chance of making double digits? I think no. I think no.
We'll do a little round table here. Ryan, does the Giants make double digits in league play points?
I think anything's possible, you know. To be honest,
Oh, that's
except
a boring answer.
except anybody winning this tier, except for Cans. That's a dead,
Solid take
set
before
in
taking
stone
about
cert.
Kralik. Tom, sir, take on the Giants, double-digit league pay points.
I don't know. I think the tier is terrible. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea how any of the teams are gonna do, and it's just gonna be an absolute mess.
It is, and yeah, we're gonna skip over Kralik. He's a bit biased here with his team, but actually, no, Kralik.
I think
Do you
my
believe in your team?
is the best team in the tier. Pukas is going to
Okay.
win all the ones. Pukas and Shadow are going to win all the twos. And I don't like Minty, so I don't really know what to say. He's just there.
Did you just openly admit to not liking the player you picked?
No, okay, listen, right, listen.
Can we? Okay,
Put our
no.
differences aside if he can play well.
I'm sorry, we've all had to start laughing at this. This is it's hilarious. This is the emotions. This is what RLS is about. We need to get that good chuckle out. Kralik has provided entertainment as usual. But more importantly, we're going to find out as the season progresses. Is any manager going to get the sack? I already know who my favourite is for El Sakiko in the final derby of the week 5, but we're going to quickly now recap over all the teams, and we'll start off with Lovely Cans Superstar being selected with Shark, Winter Jaffa, All-Star. We have Panda Cans Luca, Shooting Star, Jez, Red Port Bread, and Rising Star. Obviously, then we have Quark, Cowster, and Dinner. I think overall he's had a solid enough draft. He hasn't done terrible by any stretch of the imagination, Nova.
Agree. I do think obviously the superstar team is his best shout. Do I think he's going to win any of the other tiers? Admittedly, no. But there is always a shout. Look, RLS, it does bring. I've only been. This is only my second RLS, but even last year I found you really do not have a clue who's going to win up until it actually starts happening. So who knows what'll happen, but I think he's got a superstar in the bag already. Everything else, I think he's just a bit off.
That is completely fair, Nova, and I've already been at it in general, giving out by my second round superstar how much an idiot I am, just like Cans last year. But look, it'll be a fun time either way. We're going to quickly move on to the Saints, managed by Ryan. He has some absolutely incredible teams here, so maybe sleeper picks of how everything's going to go. And I suppose, rather than rattling off all the names we can see here, Ryan's here. Do you want to talk a bit about how you thought it went as a whole, Ryan, now that you can see all 4 teams here?
I think it went pretty good. To be fair, I think Superstar. It's kind of a write-off if you don't get the number 1 pick, you know. But I think we do what we can. Maybe Zach could be the sleeper of all sleepers. Who knows? I see RLI General doesn't seem to know too much about him either, but we'll see, I guess. I've got 2 great players in Shooting Star who can sub up for me, you know, probably better than I am. So All Star's looking real nice. And rumor has it the hero guy in Rising Star is a bit of a cooker. So hopefully, you know, we'll aim to take 3 twos.
I think you're absolutely right about Hero and that Rising Star pick there. Hero and Rubber Ducky as a duo. Rubber Ducky has been absolutely cooking recently, hitting flip resets in Academy and all of this. I think you've built quite a strong Rising Star team, Ryan. But as you're saying, will you pull a bit of a Tomster and just decide to sub yourself out for every series, your third rounder, to replace with a lower tier? We'll find out.
Without a doubt.
But a decent draft overall by Ryan. I'm going to move on to the next manager, Tomster, with the Celtic Tigers. Obviously, there's his own team Superstar with Lama and Nathan. All-Star, Eddie, Cookie, Dunusher. Maybe a bit of troll potential. We'll find out. Shooting Star. It's an unknown quantity, is the best way to put it with Grady, but Snorkel and Rene. It could be very, very interesting. And Rising Star predicted by a lot of people to actually be one of, if not the strongest team with Bev, Hanini, and Duffy. I think, Tom, while we do like to slight you sometimes, I think we have to put a bit of a pat on your back right now. You've done a decent draft overall. How do anything there stand out to you in these tiers?
Sure, look, to be fair, I'm kind of happy with my picks. I don't think I really could have done better. Some might agree, some might disagree, but in fairness, I'm quite happy with my superstar team. I know me and Nate were trolling there in the chat, but I'd say we could be due after the shenanigans that happened last season in semis. But sure, look, my all-star team there, like I said, could win, could come last. I'd say there's no in between really. But I think getting the pick of Dan Orchard there in All Star is huge for the other two lads. He's been improving a lot recently, and he's extremely mechanical. Like, yeah, my shooting star team kind of took a gamble there, picking Rene, but I'd say his prior experience probably will stand to him and the team. Grady's the first pick was a no-brainer, but Snorkler there as well. He won, I believe it was Rising Star for me last season. So I kind of have a trend of picking previous winners if I can. And my Rising Star team, I don't know a whole lot. I can't say I've seen Bev play, but I've seen Hanini, and Duffy has won an RLIS tier before, if I believe. So yeah, I can't really complain. Looking forward to see how the season goes.
I would agree, Tom. Dano, especially in All-Star. A lot of mechs. Cookie and Eddie, both very good trees, especially Cookie. A very impressive rise in the 3v3 scene lately, compared to maybe 6 months to a year ago. But we're going to quickly move on to the next manager, Rory, who I do have a few words for since he wasn't present today, but we're going to go quickly over his tiers. Luke, Nuss, and SM, Superstar. Epic, Ryan 4, and Estonian Shark and All-Star. Sark, Cirques, and Saturday in Shooting. And Rising Star, Ferg, King Casual, and Tezek. Well, we'll throw it to you, Nova, since you're still here. What do you think of Rory's tier since he's not here?
I do think. Look, I really want to say, yeah, Rory, you've done a brilliant job. Because anything compared to last year is a brilliant job once he's not picking the worst picks. I do think Superstar is decent enough. Obviously, Sam, we'll see how he performs on his day. All-Star, again, I feel like his first two picks in every tier is great. And then it comes to the third pick and it's like, okay, do I actually agree with this though? Shooting Star, great tier for him. Could absolutely win it. But we'll have to see, can SAM, can Estonian Shark, can Tazeke pull through? Because I think SAM is an amazing twos player. But will he be able to keep up in the threes is the question we'll ask. We'll have to just wait and see. But look, he did better on land than you did, Dave. So we're just going to bring that up real quick.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But, so, and now I'm going to quickly get up. I posed a few questions to Rory about asking how he felt he went overall. For Rory's thought he's done pretty decent overall. He tried a slightly different model this year compared to previous, which, you know what, you might as well gamble when previous drafts are never good. But he's just trying to remake team. You could see it here, a lot of his tiers. He's remade teams, which did quite well in previous seasons. The Luke and Stu obviously being very good. Ryan and Estonian Shark did well and All-Star together. And there's a bit of a mix-up in his other tiers, so he's done quite well. He's predicting his Superstar to potentially be his best team, but he doesn't think he has an overly strong tier compared to others. But the most important question I asked Rory was, based on the early betting odds pre-draft reveal, I asked him how does it feel to be the favourite heading into El Sacico with Mr. Krolak. And Rory's response is, I think my fraud allegations are highly overblown. after his first season managing, considering he made 3 out of 5 playoffs. Yeah, we don't talk about that. Grand finals, a few of them. He hasn't seen Krollick's teams, but based on some rumours he saw, he predicts Krollick to have a few howlers of his own, so he's quite confident. A few strong fighting words from Rory, but I suppose we'll quickly move off Rory's and we'll go to my own, obviously, superstar, or my own tier as a whole. Picking up Yuck, Mayday, and myself. A few harsh words from Mayday in general, but maybe retracting them at this stage after looking at the overall tier. We'll find out. But All-Star, Nova and Techie, the dynamic duo, always playing phenomenal together. Gotta back the boys. JTGM doing a really good choice there for the third round. Shooting Star, Pudding, Souls, little Dutch boy. It was a very tough tier to draft, but I think Pudding on his day is definitely could easily be the best player in that tier. Rising Star, Rad, Big Hugh Jamie, and Large Ryan. Ryan, a very good friend of mine. Had to pick him, had to get him in. Rad, absolutely phenomenal, always in Rising and Ascending Star. Often end up farming, so we'll hopefully Big Hugh Jamie. Very, very underrated player by the managers, but a very current high MMR, so we'll end up finding how it goes. And I'm going to stop talking about myself enough, Nova, and we'll see, do you have any questions for me, or if there's anything you think about my draft as a whole?
It's a good draft overall. We were discussing beforehand. I do think all of your tiers have what it takes to be competitive in all of them. Whether or not you'll win any of them, look, I'm confident for All-Star, but for the rest, it will be close. That said, I am going to ask you, how many tiers do you think you'll win after this? And overall, how happy are you? Let's say on a scale to 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I'm happy. I'm going to say I'm an 8. I'm fairly happy with my draft. I think, obviously, it depends how the season plays out. We'll have to find out. But I think I can. I'll be happy. I think I can get. I'll be over the moon. I think I can get 2 tier wins. I'm not going to name names which ones I think are very confident, but I think I can win 2 of these tiers, Nova.
Confidence.
You got to have the confidence, I suppose, and you know what? If I have the confidence that you have in All-Star, bit biased with yourself speaking there, but look, we're gonna, and that's it. There's no other team to talk about. I think we're gonna end up there. Nova, are we? Is there anyone I'm forgetting about?
That's it. Sort of actually just flew by, really, I'll be honest.
No.
Oh, wait, no, it's not it. Never mind. There's one more.
We had to, Nova. We had to forget about himself in here. Look, where I suppose I've asked enough questions, Nova. You know this man well. Do you have any questions in particular for the potential fraudiger of the season?
So, Krollick, I wanted to ask, were you trying?
So this is what happened, right? I'm out. I look at my phone. Dave texts me. He goes, "Oh, it's your turn for the draft." I look at the sheet. I'm like, "Fucking hell." I wanted hidden in Superstar, so after that, my plans were kind of chalked. So I go, Pucus, yeah, he's good at 2s and 1s. Shadow, yeah, he's good at 2s and 1s. And I was like, well, I kind of need a decent enough third. And you know what? Minty plays enough Rock League. But after that, after I seen my Superstar team, I was like, kind of chalked.
So we have Dave, who's full of confidence for his tiers, and now we have Krollick saying, "Yeah, it's already over."
Look, I expect my shooting star to win. I'll be so honest with you. I think if Zexel is grinding the game, and he has Mali and Jonzer, who are good trees players, and then Mali's amazing at 1s, and Mali and Zexel could be amazing.
Okay, that's
at 2s.
true. That's true.
I fully expect them to do really well in shooting star. And
that's
the only tier we need to talk about, to be honest.
Was it Mali who hit that double flip reset on you?
I'm leaving.
Or was that no? That was
He's leaving.
No. Shut your mouth, Nova.
Or was it AO? Sorry, I'm not sure. Was it Mali or was it was one of them?
I actually
anyways.
don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
We'll be nice, Krollick. We'll be nice, but I suppose the trouble with your shooting star, Krollick, is if they can be the best on their day if they play. Availability is always
but
a question mark.
Decent. Zexel's good. Mali's available a lot. So is Jonzer. So it's just about Zexel, really.
Which is your top player, so that's why it'll be interesting. And I suppose Ethan straight up to sub in for
I
Shooting
back
Star,
that.
I suppose, would it be? Carla?
Ethan subbing in for Shooting Star.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he's lucky he made it into Rising Star.
Crawley, you are being very mean today about a player you willingly drafted. You know, he's not going to want to play for you now.
No, I take it back. He's not lucky. He's good. I boosted him a bit in two, so he's decent enough now.
Season hasn't even started and he's already collapsing.
Can we chalk off Krollick's teams
look.
already?
No, look, it's going to be good fights for that Rising Star team. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be good fights. Jarf is good. Jarf will carry that team. That's all I'm worried about.
Good overall. But look,
Awards.
either way, that has been the... Tom, do you want to... I just see what you put it. Do you want to say that out loud, Tom? Do you want to say that for the stream?
Excuse me.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
you fat ass. Jesus Christ.
You should have muted him before he even got to say anything, because it was always going to turn out like that.
Yeah, maybe, potentially. But either way, that has been the RLIS draft. We obviously want to thank all the managers that did show up for appearing today. Give a few words. Thank you very much, Nova, for obviously joining up here, being a little co-commentator with me. And any words about the season to come, or just how the draft went overall in your experience, Nova?
It's going to be exciting regardless. 3 of the 4 tiers look quite unpredictable, specifically the middle 2. So yeah, 5 out of 6 managers with some very good performances as well. And we'll see how the confidence from those 5 out of 6 managers in the team, or teams rather, translates over to main season.
Indeed, we're going to have to wait and find out, I suppose. But look, I suppose we're going to leave you all off there. Managers will try and start getting their teams into their Discords and nominating captains. Fixtures will be putting up there. It'll be the same release order as last season if you know what it is or can find out. But we'll be putting it back up anyway. And again, thank you very much. Obviously, none of this would happen without all of you that have signed up. And hopefully, here's best of luck to everyone, except Krollick, for a lovely RLS season.
Hate yous all. Cheers.
Bye.